mechanic, and it really is, so he's in some ways reminiscent a little bit of Q from Third Strike. People remember him. He could taunt to sort of increase his defense, so Hakan gets a lot of benefits out of his oil, really increases the range on all those command normals, even changes their properties. So for instance, the stand roundhouse here doesn't knock you down, but when I oil up, it'll knock you right down. So, and for instance, I can't chain my light kicks, but when I'm oiled up, it's very easy to just sort of run them all together because I'm oily. So the attacks just sort of flow one right into the other. And he's a ton of fun.
Now, speaking of Third Strike, we've got three Street Fighter 3 characters in here now. Obviously, you've had to change them a little bit, right? Because parry was so important in Street Fighter 3. Can you talk through like how these guys have changed, if at all?
What I think the team has been really proud about is that they really do feel like they're Third Strike equivalents. So again, early reports from a lot of Third Strike players say the same thing. So they've got some new versions of their old tricks, but all the sort of fun things that you like to do in Third Strike, you're going to feel right at home. You're going to be able to jump right into these kind of techniques again. So again, Ibuki has all of her chain combos, or a lot of them. She's got a bunch of techniques with the kunai, the sort of the air knife, sliding on the ground. All of her crazy kicks are all still in effect. You know, they're a new version in the Street Fighter 4 world, but they're all, everything you wanted to do in Street Fighter 3 you can still do. So Dudley's got all of his old tricks. You know, his overhead roundhouse into the super, very dirty trick there. It's all still working in Street Fighter 4.
Should we take some questions from the audience?
Go for it.
All right, let's do it. We've got one from Eduardo in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He wants to know if you could, Seth, if you could explain the different colors on the special move meters at the bottom of the screen.
Different colors on the special move meters at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Well, basically, as you charge up your bar, you get, you know, it's broken into 4 parts. So your super bar is broken into 4 parts. And each one, once you get a quarter of your meter full, you're able to do an EX version of your move.
Okay.
So that's sort of a more powerful. So for like Hakan, there's the EX grab. You get a little more range. It has some sort of special abilities. Focus canceling is also, like there, is done on with your super bar. So that'll take half your meter. We're, of course, in the training mode here, so my meter never really runs out.
Right.
We're in the land of happy full meter. And then your ultra combo, of course, will go up as you take damage or you get hit. And once it reaches 50%, you're able to execute the move, and when it reaches full, you're still doing the same move, but it does extra damage.
Is the green and purple, though, is that just an indicator of which color, which number ultra you
Thank you for
got?
clarifying. Yes, that's a quick way to look, and also, if you can quickly jump for me and get hit by that. Actually, when I execute it, you'll actually see the name of the Ultra quickly flashed on the bottom of the screen. That's something else that's changed from Street Fighter 4. Very minor, but just a little reminder in case you forget which one is Ultra 1 and 2, which one your opponent is doing, so you get a little more familiar with the move.
I'm wondering if you can give us some insight of why oil wrestling and how they came to that decision.
Oh, the concept art for one of the final, you know, we wanted to add another brand new character to the Street Fighter universe rather than just bringing back all old favorites. So we did a ton of concept work, and I wish I could share with you some of there are some really insane concepts. So Hakan on the insanity scale, actually, I would say is in the bottom third.
Really?
Of how, yeah, I mean, there were martial arts clowns and things like that were up for consideration. So I think Hakan actually came out quite well, but he's got a lot of unusual design touches. I don't know exactly what's on his head. That is his hair. It's not a helmet. But it's very unusual, and Turkish oil wrestling is, of course, a recognizable martial art around the world, not as sort of tough as like a Krav Maga or something like that, but distinctly, and it really gave the animators and the designers a chance to go nuts. So they were able to explore the oil as a mechanic in terms of changing the properties on his moves, and what would it be like to actually fight a really oily, muscular guy?
I would love to see the rejected.
Yeah, one of these days.
One of these days, yeah. We'll have the Capcom tell-all book. Maybe in the collector's edition we'll have some of those. That would be fun. But we've got Hakan, and I'm really pleased with the way he turned out. I was thinking at the beginning when I was first playing him before he was finished, this guy's a little too obvious. But really, as he's come to full development, you know, for an oil-covered head basher, he's remarkably subtle. So I mean, you know, it really is a balance to try and stay oiled up and know the range on all of your normal moves to try and get in close and close that distance and scare your opponent into making the mistake where they land on your oily stomach and then get shot out of his butt into the wall.
Okay. Absolutely. I'm kind of partial to the karate clown, though. That sounds pretty good too.
There's always time in the Street Fighter world. Keep hope alive for the karate clown.
What about in terms of weaknesses there? Like, we talked about all his strengths. Like, what's he particularly weak against, would you say?
You know, he can get baited, and so it's any character that has a strong distance game with projectiles and things like that. So Dalsum is going to be hard for him. Characters, you know, characters with slower projectiles, not so bad, and he's able to slide under some of them in some circumstances. But he's from across screen, he doesn't have as many options. So you're not really playing a fireball character. But for instance, here, stay right about there, and so really, this is one option he has, is to, from mid-screen or even 2/3 screen or even a little further, you can fire off his super. So that gives him some reason to sort of build up his bar and not use it on EX moves. And that gives him more of a full screen counter, and that can help change the dynamic in some of the more distant matches.
And also, did you mention that his EX oil will swallow a fireball? Is that right?
It doesn't swallow a fireball, but it will allow fireballs to pass through him. So if people are keeping you out from across the screen, they're at the same time risking something sort of strategically by giving you a chance to oil up. And that makes you really very dangerous very quickly. So he has, like, you know, he can grab you from almost half screen away when he's fully oiled up.
Okay.
All right, well, an in-depth look at Hakan. Now, I have to ask the question everybody wants to know is, when is Super Street Fighter 4 coming out?
April 27th. It's only $39.95. That's a really great price, I think. So we've got, again, 10 new characters, 4 brand new online modes. The bonus stages are back. Great price point. You know, if you don't like Street Fighter, this is definitely a Street Fighter game. But for anybody that loves Street Fighter, this is everything you've been waiting for.
And important life lessons, the importance of staying oiled up.
Stay oiled up, people.
Yeah. Seth, thank you for being here. We appreciate that. Randolph, thanks for helping out. Nice to see you on the show.
Great to